Elena Collins wasn't expecting her day to change anyone's life, let alone her own. It was supposed to be just another boring afternoon at Miller's grocery store. Wearing her oversized hoodie, earbuds in, and backpack half open, she wandered the aisles, mentally calculating how much she could afford. Finals were around the corner, and her part-time job barely paid rent. But then, she saw him, an old man. Wrinkled hands, heavy coat 2 sizes too big, and a confused expression as he stood at the checkout counter. He pulled out a worn leather wallet and began counting coins, trembling fingers dropping pennies on the floor. The cashier, impatient, said loudly, "That's $27.42, sir." The old man looked up, defeated. "Can I just take the bread and milk?" There was a moment of silence. Then Elena stepped forward without thinking. "I'll pay for it," she said calmly. The cashier blinked. The old man turned to her slowly, his eyes glistening. "You don't have to. I didn't mean to cause trouble." "It's nothing," she smiled. "Really?" He nodded, visibly emotional. "You're a good person. The world doesn't have many left." She didn't know what to say. She just paid and walked out, never expecting to see him again. But just 5 hours later, as Elena reheated leftovers at home, 3 black SUVs pulled into her driveway. She froze. Men in black suits stepped out, scanning the area, earpieces, no words, just presence. Someone knocked on her door, 3 hard knocks, boom, boom, boom. Elena backed away, heart pounding. What had she just gotten herself into? Elena's breath caught in her throat. The knocks echoed again, 3 times, slow, deliberate. Not desperate, authoritative. Whoever was on the other side of that door wasn't asking, they were telling. She crept toward the window, staying low, heart hammering in her chest. Through a narrow gap in the curtain she could see them clearly now. 3 SUVs, tinted windows, black, unmarked, 4 men in suits. One stood at her front door, his jaw sharp, his eyes hidden behind dark sunglasses, even though it was night. 2 others stood by the vehicles, scanning the street like bodyguards. The 4th was typing into a sleek tablet. This was no prank, this was no coincidence. Elena's hand trembled as she reached for her phone. No missed calls, no texts. She opened her camera app and zoomed in. One of the men suddenly looked directly at her. She dropped the phone. The knock came again, louder this time. "Elena Collins?" a deep voice called out. "We need to speak with you. It's about the man from the grocery store." Her blood turned cold. How did they know about that? She opened the door just a crack, chain lock still on. "Who are you?" The man didn't smile. "You helped someone very important today, someone whose enemies watched your every move." He held up a small badge. It didn't say FBI, it didn't say CIA, it was a black card, a symbol embossed in silver, a lion and a sword. "We don't have time to explain," he said. "But your life just changed forever." Elena stood frozen behind the chained door, eyes locked on the symbol in the man's gloved hand. A lion with a sword through its mane, polished silver on matte black. "I don't understand," she whispered. "He was just an old man." The agent's voice was calm, firm. "That old man is someone people have been hunting for 2 decades. You didn't just buy him groceries, you saved his life." The words hit her like a punch to the chest. Her mind raced. "I didn't even know his name." The man glanced at his tablet. "He goes by many. But we know him as Jonathan Keats, former intelligence director, went dark in 2006. He's been presumed dead, until today." Elena felt her knees weaken. "He was testing you," the agent continued, "watching, waiting, and he chose you. Why would someone like him choose me? You showed kindness. No questions, no hesitation. That's rare." She finally opened the door, unchaining it slowly. The agent nodded and stepped in, followed by 2 others. No weapons drawn, but the air was heavy with tension. Another agent handed her a small envelope. Inside was a handwritten note. "Greater than if you're reading this, I've either disappeared or I'm dead. Either way, you're the only person I trust. You'll find the key in the music box. Protect it, or everything will fall." It was signed simply, J. Keats. Elena's mind spun. Music box? What key? What exactly had she become part of? The lead agent stepped forward. "They'll be coming for you next, Elena. You're not safe here anymore." She swallowed hard. "Then where do we go?" The agent looked her dead in the eye, where it all began. The safe house was an unmarked building on the edge of town, disguised as an old upholstery warehouse. No lights, no windows, just steel doors and silence. Elena sat at a wooden table inside, staring at a small velvet box the agents had retrieved from her apartment before leaving. "It was hidden under your bed," one of them had said. "We believe he planted it earlier." She hadn't even noticed it before. The velvet was worn, but inside, a delicate music box, shaped like a grand piano. She turned the key slowly. A haunting melody began to play, soft, old-fashioned. But then, click. A hidden compartment popped open. Inside was a brass key and a folded piece of paper, greater than locker 117, Grand Central Storage, Manhattan. Elena looked up, stunned. "He left me something in New York?" Agent Gray, the one with the tablet, nodded. "Jonathan Keats never did anything without a reason. If he chose you to retrieve what's inside, then no one else on Earth is supposed to see it." "But what is it?" she asked. The lead agent, Foster, crossed his arms. "We don't know, that's the problem. All we know is that people are already after it. Dangerous people." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "Why me?" she whispered. "I'm not a spy. I'm a barista who reads too much true crime." Foster gave a rare, thin smile. "That might be exactly why he chose you." Suddenly, alarms inside the safe house blared. "Incoming breach!" someone shouted. Gray's face turned pale. "They found us!" Foster grabbed the music box. "We move, now." Red lights flashed across the ceiling as sirens screamed through the safe house. "Secure the girl!" Agent Foster barked, already pulling open a hidden weapons drawer. "Gray, back door, they'll be coming in hot." Elena's heart thudded like a drum. Just hours ago she was microwaving noodles. Now she was in a high-security government facility under siege. "What's happening? Who's they?" she shouted over the noise. Gray's face was tight. "Mercenaries, private contractors, not government, not local. These guys get paid to erase people." Foster tossed Elena a Kevlar vest. "Put it on. If they're here, they're not just after Keats's key, they're after you." Gunshots cracked outside. A window exploded. "Go, go," Foster yelled, as the agents pushed Elena toward the back. The hallway was narrow, lined with steel plating, lit only by emergency strobes. They burst through the rear exit, and were instantly met by masked attackers in black tactical gear. No insignias, no faces, just silence. And bullets. Foster fired first. The echo was deafening. Elena ducked behind a crate as Gray dragged her toward a black SUV waiting in a shadowed alley. "This way." Two agents went down behind them. No screams, just dull thuds and flickers of blood in the strobe light. As Gray peeled out, tires screeching, Elena turned to see the warehouse burst into flames behind them, a fireball lighting up the night. Her voice trembled. "They would have killed me." Foster's jaw was tight. "They still might. You have no idea what that key unlocks. But I need to know." Foster looked at her like he was weighing her soul. "You will," he said. "But once you do, there's no going back." New York City buzzed around them like nothing was wrong. Traffic, honking, distant sirens. Just another day in Manhattan. But inside Elena's chest it felt like a war was raging. The SUV pulled up beside an unassuming storage facility wedged between a deli and a laundromat. Grand Central Storage, the faded sign read. No guards, no cameras. Nothing to suggest this place held something world-shaking. "You stay close," Agent Foster warned. They stepped inside. The air smelled like dust and old metal. Rows and rows of lockers stretched endlessly in every direction. Gray led the way, checking the map on his tablet. "Locker 117. This way." Elena clutched the key tightly in her fist. Her palms were sweaty, her breath shallow. Why did it feel like the moment she turned that lock, her entire life would shift again? They stopped in front of it. A regular gray door. Nothing fancy, no label, no noise. Elena inserted the key. Click. Inside was a single black briefcase. Gray scanned it with a handheld device. No explosives, no trackers. Elena reached in and took it, the weight heavier than it looked. She flipped the latches, slowly lifted the lid, her eyes widened. Inside was a leather-bound journal, old, weathered, and branded with the same lion and sword symbol. Alongside it lay several photographs, grainy, black and white, of political leaders, private meetings, and places Elena didn't recognize. But one photo froze her blood. It was her, taken from a distance, just outside the grocery store. "What the?" Foster grabbed the journal, flipping through it. "It's a kill list," he muttered. "These are people who were silenced." Gray looked at Elena. "Keats didn't just leave you something, he left you proof." Back in a secure room beneath a brownstone in Brooklyn, Elena stared at the journal spread across the table. Candlelight flickered. There was no electricity, no Wi-Fi, no phones. No signals, Gray had warned. "They're tracking everything." Agent Foster leaned forward, flipping pages stained with time, notes written in sharp ink, names, dates, red 10 marks beside certain entries. This symbol, the lion and the sword, he began, belongs to a covert agency known as the Sovereign Directive. It was created after World War II, off the books, unofficial, a shadow arm of global intelligence. Wait, Elena said. Are you telling me there's some secret organization running behind governments? Gray nodded grimly. They weren't just behind governments, they were above them. Elena's throat dried. And Keats? Foster looked her dead in the eye. He was one of their founders. Until he turned against them, Elena felt the blood drain from her face. He believed they had become corrupt, assassinating anyone who threatened global balance. That journal holds classified evidence, names of agents, targets, political manipulations, coup plots, Gray added, and now that you've touched it, you're marked. Elena backed away. No, I didn't ask for this, I'm not a spy. I just paid for groceries. You made a choice, Foster said. Keats saw something in you, maybe courage, maybe compassion, maybe both. But now the directive knows the journal exists again. And they know it's with you. Elena clenched her fists. What do I do? Gray pulled out a flash drive. We leak it, carefully, strategically, to the right people. Foster stared at her. Or, we burn it and run. The room fell silent. Elena looked at the journal and made her choice. 3 hours later, deep beneath an abandoned subway station turned digital bunker, Elena stood before a wall of monitors. Journalists, activists, rogue intelligence contacts, a whisper network built by Keats decades ago was slowly coming alive again, and Elena was at the center of it. Foster inserted the flash drive. This contains a curated dump from the journal. Not everything, but enough to shake some very powerful foundations. Gray added, multiple backups will drop across secure servers worldwide in case we're compromised. Once we hit send, there's no pulling it back. Elena hesitated. Her finger hovered over the keyboard. Images of her old life flashed through her mind, her apartment, her cafe job, her quiet walks through campus, all gone. She pressed enter. One by one, screens lit up with upload bars. Then headlines. Leaks, explosions. Greater than anonymous source exposes global black ops network secret agency behind foreign coups. Assassinations identified world leaders silent after explosive sovereign directive leaks. Social media exploded. News anchors fumbled to translate the scope. Panic stirred behind diplomatic doors. Elena sat back, heart pounding. But then the lights flickered. Gray froze. That's not us. The screen flashed red. Intrusion detected. They've found us, Foster snapped. They're already in our system. An explosion rocked the tunnel overhead. Dust rained from the ceiling. Move, someone shouted. Elena grabbed the journal, shoved it into a backpack and followed the agents through a narrow escape hatch. As they emerged into the street, sirens wailed in the distance. Not police, not fire, private air support, black choppers. They're coming for us, Gray said. Hard, Elena tightened the straps on the bag. They can try. The city was chaos. Helicopters thundered above like dark insects. Sirens screamed across every street. Newscasters stuttered their way through half-truths while black SUVs swarmed like sharks circling blood. Elena, Foster and Gray weaved through alleys, underground tunnels and abandoned subway shafts. Every move was tracked, every safe house was compromised. They're everywhere, Gray growled, scanning rooftops. This isn't just a response, this is eradication. They're scared, Foster said. The journal shook them harder than we thought. Elena clutched the backpack, the leather-bound journal digging into her back. So what do we do? Keep running? No, Foster said. We hit back. They entered an old cyber hub once used by whistleblowers. Walls lined with servers, solar-powered batteries humming quietly. Inside, a hacker named Nix, half-shaved head, tattoos of chess pieces down her arm, greeted them. Thought you were dead. Not yet, Gray said. We need one final hit, full release. Nix raised an eyebrow at Elena. You're the girl from the grocery store, huh? Elena smirked. Apparently. They plugged in the final data dump. Video files. Audio recordings. Blackmail archives. Assassination orders. Code-named operatives in every major government. It was more than anyone expected. This could cause governments to fall, Nix whispered. Good, Elena said coldly. Then let them. Just as the upload began, an explosion rocked the street above. A reinforced door buckled. Dust spilled into the room. They found us again, Foster snapped. We've got 3 minutes. As gunfire erupted outside, Elena pressed final release on the main terminal. The file launched, broadcasting across dark web nodes, mirror sites, encrypted networks. The world now had the truth. But the directive wasn't done yet. A voice echoed through a nearby loudspeaker greater than Elena Collins. "Step outside, or we burn the city down." Smoke seeped through the ventilation grates. The floor trembled with the sound of boots overhead. Outside the voice came again, calm and terrifying, greater than Elena Collins, "Surrender the journal, or thousands will suffer." Inside the bunker, Gray loaded his last magazine. Foster checked the structural exit under the server racks. Nix was backing up the last fragments of the leak. The world had seen the truth. But the directive wasn't just after silence. They wanted retribution. Elena stood in the center of it all, journal in hand, surrounded by people who had risked everything because she paid for a stranger's groceries. And she was done running. "No one else dies because of me," she said, slinging the backpack over her shoulder. "Elena, wait!" Gray reached for her. She raised her hand. "This ends with me." She opened the blast doors and walked out into the blinding light of the street above. Black SUVs, soldiers, a helicopter hovering low. A suited figure stepped forward, cold, expressionless. The directive's final enforcer. He raised a device. "Give us the book." Elena tossed the backpack at his feet. "You think this is over?" he sneered. She smiled. "No. But you're over." He looked down. Just as Nix's voice echoed through a hijacked citywide speaker system, greater than to everyone watching this, "Meet the sovereign directive." Screens across Times Square lit up. The enforcer froze, so did his men. Then sirens, real ones, echoed behind them. FBI, Interpol, journalists, protesters. The directive was exposed. In the chaos, Gray pulled Elena back just as the enforcer was tackled. Later that night, Elena sat on a rooftop, watching the skyline flicker with flashing lights and headlines. Foster sat beside her. "You did it." "No," she said, "we did." And in her lap she opened the journal again,